This year, Massachusetts made some changes to state guidelines that made it a little easier to qualify for a pardon. But now a big name request is raising some eyebrows. As WGBH News reporter Adam Reilly reports, actor Mark Wahlberg wants Massachusetts to wipe his crimes from the books.
These days, Mark Wahlberg is a Hollywood A-lister known for movies like Ted and The Fighter and a reality TV show about his family's restaurant business.
Just waiting for everybody.
But as a teenager, Wahlberg was a small-time hood. And on an April night in 1988, he attacked a man named Tan Lam at this Dorchester intersection, shouting a racial epithet and striking him in the head with a 5-foot stick. Later, he sucker-punched a man named Hoa Trin a few blocks away and hurled more racial invective after his arrest. In a 2010 60 Minutes interview, Wahlberg spoke about those assaults, which led to 45 days in prison.
Did you realize that this man who you'd hit with a stick in the eye, that he'd lost his eye and that he...
No.
When did you find out?
Not until later, until we started going through the court proceedings.
What did you think?
Oh my God, I was just, horrified.
Now Wahlberg is seeking a pardon, saying he's deeply sorry, that he's been active in charity, and that it would be an inspiration to troubled youths. The request comes as his family burger chain Wahlburgers is expanding.
Oh, holy well, I like the space down here.
Wahlberg admits there's a connection, saying his criminal record could, quote, deny me a concessionaire's license in California and elsewhere. Still, Emmett Folgert of the Dorchester Youth Collaborative thinks Wahlberg's contrition is genuine.
He is clearly remorseful, and I would call what he's been doing for all these decades restitution. He deserves a second chance.
Since Wahlberg made it big, Folgert adds he's given back to the community in a big way.
Factually, over the years, this guy has supported thousands and thousands of young people, not just in Dorchester, where he came from, but throughout the country.
Wahlberg's request now sits with the state parole board, and the pushback has been intense, with one online petition saying Wahlberg's crimes are just too violent and racially inflammatory to forgive. Adam Reilly, WGBH News.
Well, the pardon idea certainly has its critics, and many people feel Wahlberg needs to take one very important step before a pardon is even considered. My guest now is in that camp. Adrienne Walker is a columnist for the Boston Globe, and you're feeling, Adrienne, you wrote about earlier this week, that he needs to find these people, because it was more than just the two Vietnamese people.
That's right.
It was 6 or 7 other people,
there are several
young
incidents, yes.
Black men and women. But I mean, actually, I don't think your newspaper did find them either. They didn't find the 2 Vietnamese people.
We have not found all of them yet, no.
Yeah.
That's true.
But that's almost beside the point.
No, I think he needs to find his victims. I think he needs to apologize to them. I think that needs to be step one of the pardon process.
I'm really curious about this, and I wonder what your take is, because this whole episode was so far off of everybody's radar screen. It happened in 1988.
Yes.
And when you really read the details of it, I mean, it's awful, it's sordid, it's really, really ugly. Why would he want to call attention to that now?
I think he must really want a pardon, and I don't think it's mainly for liquor licenses. I think it's out of genuine contrition. I think that's the only reason he would drag himself through this sordid affair and through all of this embarrassment. Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, when you read through it, I mean, it was more than just childhood pranks and antics. It was like, it was racially charged. It was racism by any other word.
Right, and it's more than one event, too. I mean, there was also the event 2 years earlier in 1986 where his friends threw a bunch of rocks at a bunch of black school kids, yelling terrible things at them. I mean, there were a few of these. Mm-hmm.
I mean, these kinds of things don't come up too often. As Emmett Folgert feels like he's been very generous with the community, that he's given back a lot. But, I mean, so the point is if he's done that and he's made that kind of restitution, is an apology really that critical?
Yeah, I think it is that critical, with all due respect to my friend Emmett Folgert. And it's not that different from what anybody else would do going before the parole board. I mean, you stand there in front of your victims, in front of their families, you say you're sorry, you say you've changed as a person. It's really not any different than what many other people would go through in the same process. What I don't think he should get is some red carpet treatment where it all just gets, magically expunged because he's a movie star.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he will.
Right.
Would it be good enough in your mind for him to stand before the parole board, before a court of law, and do this, or does he literally have to track the people down?
I would like to see him track the people down. Many of them have been traumatized for 25 years over what Mark Wahlberg did to them, But, failing that, I could see doing it in front of the parole board. But really, I would like to see him go find the people. It's not that hard.
Many people who've asked for pardons from governors and parole boards are in the penal system, and they're
That's right.
looking for a way out. He's so far beyond that. He only spent, which I find shocking, by the way, that he only spent 45 days in jail for essentially poking somebody's eye out.
Right.
That speaks to the criminal justice system back then.
Of
We
the
may have
time,
gone overboard now, but
Right, he'd do much more than that now.
so the point is, I mean, he's not seeking anything really expunged. I mean, it's always going to be part of who he is.
Right. Well, and that goes back to why he wants it. I mean, I think he really is driven by contrition and remorse. He has suffered, in a way, very little from what he did. I mean, it hasn't stopped him from becoming a millionaire movie star, and he doesn't have materially that much to gain from it.
Was he a part of the group, the New Kids on the Block, when this happened? I was trying to refresh my
No,
memory, 'cause I was in
not
Boston
at the time this happened. He was a member of the New Kids on the Block previously, and then he was doing other stuff when this
Oh,
happened.
so it wasn't coincidental to that.
Not exactly, no.
All right, let's see if he heeds Adrian Walker's advice.
He should.
Okay, Adrian, thanks for coming.